Oh my goodness. I am having so much fun reading the posts from all you guys, from my former students, telling me what you've been up to. I've received even a video on, anyway, oh my gosh, my heart. I love you guys so much. It's so exciting. So, as I've been reading that, I've been having a thought, or two, or 12. Are there any of my old stories that any of you would like me to share again? So, you former students out there, if you have any stories you remember. Now, there's a couple that I shared in class that I don't know I would share on social media. Okay, right? But anyway, so tell me, if you have some things that you'd like me to share with you guys, or if you would like me to give a doc talk about a certain topic, or please send it to me and I will share with you stuff. So cool. The other thing I was thinking about was, I could do I had one person say, could somebody please do a lesson on the difference between sale and sell? I could do that. Okay. So, hi everybody. Hi. Anyway, I just thought that it would be really, really fun if, because I want to share my stories. I want to reach out and share some of my own personal self to you guys in a way that, not just my students, but anybody who wants to just tune in and listen into a way that's outside of a classroom. So, yeah, so those are some thoughts. If you have anything you'd like me to teach about or talk about, I'm game. I love to talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ. I love to talk about my opinions about things. Anyway, so if you have something, let me know. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to do. Okay, so one thing I am going to do, Tracy Taylor, she's on. You'll appreciate this. I'm going to do I know, Lula. I was just going to talk about that, Tracy. I'm going to do a LuLaRoe fashion show. A fat ladies, me. Okay. So yeah, I'm LuLaRoe. I'm addicted. Anyway, and so yeah. So there's an idea. So let's see. I was thinking about stories. Okay. So do any of you guys remember the stink bomb in the Roosevelt Junior High School auditorium? Oh, it was so bad. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. And poor Mr. Lurcher was planted in the auditorium, and he sat in the chair where it was, and it went off, and he had to go home to change his clothes. It was so bad. Remember that? Any of you out there way back when? Okay, so some of you guys wrote me some things that I'd forgotten. Like my example of what gallant means, Cherry Hagman. Reading The Outsiders. A lot of you guys we're talking about some of the books. Oh, Joshua Cox says yes. He says he promises it wasn't him. The things we do in middle school. Shh. Right? So, a lot of you mentioned some of the books that you loved. So my question is, why did those books resonate with you? Why do you still think about some of those things that we read and talked about? Why? I want to know why. What was it that hit you in the feels and made you think and process as a rotten teenager? As a psychosexual hormonal critter, how come those things stuck with you? So anyway, chat with me or send me a message or whatever. Yeah. So some of you guys have old kids, pushing junior high age themselves. So is there anything you'd like me to help you teach them? What would you like to hear about? Would you I'd love to read stories, whatever. Anyway, so I'd love some feedback from you guys about what you would love from the Mrs. Doc Taylor. What would you like to see from here? And also, as you get these from me, please share away. Please share away. Spread the word, okay? Oh, there was a book about a girl who had a ghost or something on the same island, like the girl with two faces or something. That is not resonating, Annie. Like, two faces. I'll have to process that. So some of the books that you guys have mentioned are The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963 by Christopher Paul Curtis. The Outsiders. Love teaching The Outsiders. That might be my favorite book to teach. Many of you mentioned Freak the Mighty. And love teaching Freak the Mighty, but I teach 8th graders now. And I teach in a school that has a reputation for rigor and being tougher than the other middle, junior high schools here in town. And so I have an expectation to teach more challenging books. So Freak the Mighty would be considered more like 6th grade in our school. So yeah, I was thinking about, can any of you from The Outsiders still recite the poem, the famous poem, "Nature's first green is gold, her only hue to hold"? Can you do that? Yeah. So I named my dog Soda Pop. Some of you may remember Goofy. Goofy is a golden retriever, and he passed away from old age before we moved to Casper. And now we have the dog Soda Pop. Well, he's a golden, nothing gold can stay, Outsiders. And of course, one of the main characters in Outsiders is Soda Pop. And that's where his name came from. But he's lived up to that. He has the most bubbly, hyper personality. Yeah. So anyway, I'd love to hear your feedback of some of the things that you'd love to hear from the Mrs. Doc person. And if there's anything specific, any stories that you'd love to rehear or you heard about. As I said, some of the stories I don't know are appropriate for social media, but I might write them down and send them to you. We'll see. But yeah, so I've just been thinking about, thank you guys for reaching out to me and building this community of people. I don't know, it's just warming my heart. So I was just trying to think if I have any quick stories I could share real quickly. All my stories are long. I have one that I'm going to start, and it's probably going to take three sessions. I could do it all at once, but probably to be at least an hour and a half long, maybe 2 hours. So I might break it up. Let's see. Anything else I can think of? Did you hear that Mr. Attride passed away last week? Yeah. And yeah, Mr. Attride passed away. He had been sick for a long time and retired a few years ago, and he passed away. And he was on dialysis and had been really, really ill. So that left a real big hole in my heart. Such a good man. We started teaching at Roosevelt Junior the exact same year. I had taught 2 years previously here in Casper, Wyoming, actually, and moved to Roosevelt because they gave me a job. And Mr. Attride had worked in the business sector for a long time, and then he felt like he was not making a difference. And he wanted to do something that personally touched people. And so he went back to school in the middle of his career, and he got his teaching degree. And so I believe he was 15 years older than I am. Yeah, so I was just thinking too the other day as I was processing, I do not think there is a single staff member at Roosevelt Junior High who was there when I first started anymore. Now there's one that's close. Mrs. Thacker in the office, she came partway through that first year, and I believe she's still there. But besides that, all of us are gone. That's kind of interesting to process and think about. And even in the last 5 years since I've been here in Casper, the staff, I wouldn't recognize most of the people there. I wouldn't. It'd be really, really interesting. So anyway, I can't think of any story. I told you. Oh, I guess I told you about my squirrel. So I'll remind you of the squirrel story. Okay, so I told you guys, some of you guys, I told this story most years when I was teaching. So this was when we lived in Casper before we moved to Roosevelt. And let's see, Ben and Kevin were little. Like, Katie, I don't think, was born yet. But they were little ones. So Ben was 4 when Katie was born, or almost 4. So they were little. Ben and Kevin were like 3 and 2. Anyway, we're driving down the street, and some of you are watching who are here in Casper, and so we were driving down 12th Street, down in the tree areas. Okay, it just dawned on me not many moons ago. They always call it the tree streets, and I thought because they had all the trees in town, and then I realized, oh, the names of the streets are also trees. Well, anyway, so driving down there, and the car in front of me hit a squirrel. This poor squirrel flew through the air, and I saw it, and I am really tender-hearted when it comes to animals. Okay, they're very dear. I like most animals more than a lot of people. And so, anyway, so I pulled over, and Ben and Kevin are in a car. We had a little blue Omni. You know what that car is. Anyway, so I pulled over, and the squirrel was right there in the grass at the side of the road, and it was passed out, but I could see it breathing. Okay, it just got hit by a car, but his poor little leg was bent at this really kooky angle, and it was broken, and oh, I need to rescue the squirrel. So I decided I was going to take the squirrel to a vet. Okay, so I pick up the squirrel, and we drive to a vet, and it's like 5:15 p.m. and it was closed. So I drove to a couple more, and they're closed. And so I decided I will take the squirrel back to where I found him, and hoping that his little squirrel family would rescue him and help him and stuff. Okay, so we drive back to 12th Street and go down, and I pull over where I picked him up, and I pick him up, and I'm putting him down, and the little thing woke up. I want you to imagine for a minute, if you were a squirrel and you had a monster holding you, what would be your reaction? Well, the thing bit me. So the closest thing to it, because I was holding it in my hand, was my finger. And so, here. So I have this. Okay, so here I have this squirrel grabs onto my finger like this and is holding on for dear life. Now he's hurt. He has a broken leg. This monster thing is grabbing him. Anyway, he holds on for his life. Now, it was just like a cartoon. It was truly just like a cartoon where I was like, jumping up and down, and my 2 little kids are screaming in the car. Anyway, and finally, I finally got him, and he flew off. Well, when he flew off, that squirrel took off most of the tip of my finger with it. And I was bleeding a lot, okay? And I was hurting. And I was, oh my gosh, I just got eaten by a squirrel. So I grabbed something in the car, a blanket or a kid's coat, I don't know, and wrapped it around my fingers to hold the bleeding. And I drove home. My husband was home, and I just said, I gotta go to the doctor. Like, I gotta go. And he's like, what happened to you? And one of the kids, Mom got eaten by a squirrel. Anyway, he was like, what? So I drive to Instacare because it's cheaper than the ER. And I go to Instacare, and they're open usually till like 8 o'clock. And I walk in, of course, I have this bloody, sopping blood rag over my finger, and then the doctor, like gets me in right away and takes it off and sees that my bone is out and the tip of my finger is all blah. He's like, what happened to you? And I'm like, I got bit by a squirrel. What? I got bit by a squirrel. And the doctor just looked at me and was like, now that's what I've never heard before. Now you gotta tell me how that happened. So I told him I was just trying to rescue the poor squirrel. And I told him about trying to go to the vet, and I told him all about that, and he laughed. He laughed. He was laughing at me. And he's like, oh, that's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. And anyway, and so he's putting the flap of my finger, fortunately, it was really still all there. And he put it back over the bone, and he sewed it up. Anyway. And he's like, well, I gotta call, I don't know if squirrels have rabies. So I gotta find out if you gotta have a rabies sequence here. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And so, anyway, come to find out, squirrels in the western United States do not carry rabies. Now you know. Yay. So I had to have a tetanus shot, though, and of course drugs and antibiotics for infection and all that stuff. And so anyway, sewed me up and sent me home. Well, of course, now everybody is asking me, how'd you get hurt? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I got bit by a squirrel. What? How'd you get close enough to a squirrel? You were trying to rescue a squirrel and take it to the vet? How stupid are you? Well, I was trying to be nice. Little critter. They're cute and fluffy with majorly huge teeth. So my finger healed and it was fine. But the weird thing was whenever I would hit it in a certain way, it would hurt. And I always thought maybe it was just part of the injury. And I don't know if you can see. Where's the camera? My nail plate at the end, he bit right into the nail plate. So it has a bump and a ridge. So like Annie and Mallory, those of you who do nails, nails don't adhere to that because of the ridge and how weird it is. But it's okay, I hate nails. Anyway, so I just went through my life, but it was amazing that, as I said, I'd hit it a certain way, and it would, and for years and years and years and years did that. Well, some of you guys might remember that I had some major health problems with my heart and some stuff. So before I taught you guys when I was young, even before the squirrel incident. Yeah, before the squirrel incident. Or was it after the squirrel incident? And so that happened, and then after that, I had some other things going on, and I had to have one day a full body scan. Okay? And so, get the full body scan, and a couple of days later, the doctor's in, give me the results, and he goes, well, everything looks normal, but I have a question for you. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I have a question about your left index finger. I'm like, okay. He said, well, I saw a weird thing on the x-ray, so I blew it up. And I was like, okay. And he said, it looks like there's a tooth in your finger. And I was like, oh, the squirrel got its revenge, right? So, anyway, there is a little tiny piece of squirrel tooth inside my finger. So when I hit it just right, that tooth jams into the bone and it hurts. Now, it isn't as sensitive as it used to be, but I did it the other day. I think like 2 days ago, Sunday maybe. I hit it just right. And I was like, oh, that squirrel. So, thank you, Ben Angus. Crazy set of emails. Yeah, my son Bangus is on. Ben, thing is the people watching, I was their teacher, and they know that I am not normal, and that this is how I teach and how I talk. It's just all over the place. Anyway, so the story I told you earlier today about my squirrel friends that live in the trees around my house, is it a herd, a horde, a tribe of squirrels? I don't know. There are 8 or 9 of them on my porch, looking at me with their beady eyes and their teeth. I did not want to cross through my front door because I knew that those suckers would eat me. And that's why I went through. And maybe that's why the squirrel likes me, is because it knows we have a kinship, because I'm part squirrel. What do you think? I'm also part pig. Yep, I'm also part pig. I have a pig graft in my body. Yes, I do. So, there's your little story for today. I would love some feedback from all y'all. If there's anything you'd like to hear, any stories you'd like me to retell from your childhood days at Roosevelt Junior High, if you remember anything. Let's see, anything you'd like me to teach about or talk about or share about. And yeah, so I'm going to, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, one of these days soon, I'm going to start sharing you one of my fundamental stories. Okay. Anyway, it's great fun to reconnect with all y'all, and love you, and hope you're having a grand, marvelous day. Anyway, keep telling your classmates to reach out to me, to friend me on Facebook, to please, if you haven't yet, just give me a little paragraph about what you've done in your life. I'd love that. I've been getting out the yearbooks and getting pictures with names, and the girls especially. It'd be really helpful if you gave me your maiden name, or the name that I knew you. Oh, finger! Guess what? I still teach the finger exercises to my students. I do, before testing. Okay, so we may have to do finger exercises. That's a good one, Destiny. Oh, wow, someone remembers finger exercises. So funny what we remember. Okay, all right. See you later. Have a grand Tuesday.